Why do I do this to myself?
Howdy, Max Dragonwolf here, and I'm wondering how we got to this point. So, this needs some context. First up on the stage is Vapchan. She made a bad video talking about Lyle Convoy with allegations that rely on pure misinformation regarding him. Next up on the stage is Sleepy Wawa, a fellow newcomer to the STC, in a video addressing Vapchan's video. And the last character to our play is CarmenRider, who was apparently Vapchan's girlfriend. I thought her girlfriend was the imaginary demon who was literally 13 to 17. Anyways, Carmen made a video defending Vapchan and it was bad. Now, as a disclaimer here, I am fully aware of the things regarding Lyle Convoy and the FCK or the Fruitcake Club. However, I will not be talking about it here as, 1, I only know the basics. All I know is that the server has some really unestablished stuff going on. 2, it is unrelated to the scope of this commentary as all the relevant videos were released before the leaks. Yes, my respect for Lyle Convoy went out the window and into orbit. However, you don't need to make up Sid or rely on literal speculation and omitted context to dunk on him. While I doubt that it's gonna go anywhere, I think I should mention this just in case I get that one nitwit saying, you're defending Lyle Convoy, but I'm really not. More specifically, not defending Lyle Convoy as a whole. Anyways, with all that out of the way, let's put on our hazmat suits and walk into this toxic place.
So many reasons to stay. It's taking.
Is this supposed to give the viewer a negative opinion of Wawa out of the gate? What I'm neglecting to mention is that both Vapchan and CarmenRider are defendants of lollycon. Is this content where a character that is or appears to be preschool or kindergarten age is involved in inappropriate sexualized situations, effectively animate CP? And assuming that the text is formatted as if it's a quote, I have no choice but to assume this is well poisoning on your end. I do not recall Way ever saying that in his video.
What's up, gamers? CarmenRider here, back with another commentary. Today we're looking at a person who unironically defends Lyle Convoy and unironically defends him attempting to have a minor filmed CP for evidence.
Correction. Jordan, formerly known as Mintart, was not being great. He was being inappropriately touched by his stepfather. I would assume you know this since you watched this video. Presumably.
The video is titled, Vapchan Needs to Leave Lyle Convoy Alone. This is gonna date me a lot, but that title and this entire video's existence reminds me of this guy.
Leave Brittany alone! Please!
Carmen, you already poisoned her well. You don't need to chuck in rat poison.
Yeah, channel with 116 subs. Leave the man with 200.1 dick suckers and doxers alone. Anyways, let's get into it.
Dear God, why did I decide this would be the best for you, sir?
Oh boy, more antis, my fucking face.
I love the smell of tormenting online idiots in the morning.
Hi, I'm Sleepy Wawa, but you can call me Right. I've been wanting to get into the SEC for a while now, and since I finally have the resources, i.e. actually working a device that I can edit on,
He's poor.
I've decided, why not start here? I was actually planning on doing a video on Eurotoss.
And frankly, you should have stuck to that because that would make my job a hell of a lot easier.
Hi, Vapchan here with an important video on Lyle Convoy. Who is Lyle Convoy, you ask? Well, he's a prominent figure in the YouTube nerd community. He's obsessed with the cartoon Thundercats, and he's one of the biggest jerks on this entire site. But what makes him such a jerk? Well, he thinks of himself as a predator hunter, which would normally be an admirable thing, except his definition of a predator isn't just child molesters and groomers. Lyle Convoy considers lollycons, you know, people who are attracted to short, young-looking 2D characters but would never hurt a real kid, to be just as evil as actual child rapists.
So it's a disingenuous definition of lollycons.
It's really not.
That reminds me of a quote Dude Tone said about you.
Here, if you look at the definition I was able to find through both Wikipedia and Urban Dictionary,
Wikipedia has been known to be biased about certain political aspects of its articles. Like how it called Gamergate a hate campaign, when in reality it was only made to make gaming journalists not shit. Or how it deleted an article about mass killings in communist regimes. And of course, even its co-founder calling it out for left-leaning bias. Also, Urban Dictionary is a meme website. It's not the same as an actual dictionary, and judging by the example underneath the definition, it's clear that Plastic Box has a bias of his own.
Yes, you are right that both Urban Dictionary and Wikipedia are not good sources, however the latter can provide good sources for you to find. Also, I am sure you know so much about bias.
lollycons are an adult/genre of fiction that sexualizes either child characters or characters that look like children. Many characters that would count as lollies are Kana from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Many of the young girls in Genshin Impact, some actual children and some not. And even the characters in that one song about lollies that one VTuber made, Lolly God Requiem. All of these characters look and act like children. You might be able to excuse Lolly God Requiem, but it's also a song, so it's iffy on that front. You can even look at this infographic that was likely made by a lollycon.
You mean this random meme? This is not an infographic. This is a meme.
Just because it's a meme doesn't excuse Jack or Sid. Please explain to me what's so funny about it. Is it because lollycons are into children, therefore this meme is funny and true? You don't get to use the "it's just a joke / meme" argument if you aren't willing to tell us the punchline. And even then it's not a joke if you're laughing at someone and not with someone.
And while yes, lollies aren't as bad as real CP, they can still harm real children. Lollies and their male counterparts shotas can, 1, make real children either uncomfortable or desensitized to their own sexualization.
Lolly and shota art is made by adults for other adults, not minors. If a minor is going out of their way to view NSFW content that they know is not for them, that is either on them or their parents. It is not a content creator's job to parent your children for you.
Hey, did you know that Ray is not arguing to the contrary? Addressing your argument, if a minor falsified their age to access NSFW stuff, then you can have an argument. However, if a minor happens to be upon NSFW stuff that's not age-gated, then that's not on them. It's the person who posted it who's at fault for neglecting to age-gate what they posted. Also, what if a minor gets groomed by a lollycon by being sent this type of stuff? My point here is that there is nuance to this type of stuff.
2, I've heard, so take this with a grain of salt because I didn't see any evidence for it, but it's believable.
If there's no evidence, then how the fuck is it believable?
Well, yes, that was a rumor on Ray's end. The lack of evidence doesn't mean it doesn't exist inherently. So you have to take it with a grain of salt, but that means you're approaching it with doubt or skepticism, but nothing is flat out untrue either. Like taking something with caution. Also, a lack of evidence does not inherently mean a claim is flat out correct or incorrect. It doesn't mean there's no evidence supporting it.
Some lollycon artists may use real CP as reference for their illustrations, feeding into CP circulation.
That only happened with one person, and that person wasn't a lollycon artist, it was a furry ABDL artist. Also, the thing he traced wasn't CP, but it was of an actual baby. Not saying that ABDL lovers are pedos or anything. The A literally stands for adult. Nor am I saying that the artist in question is innocent. They're not. But you're barking up the wrong tree, and I think you're doing so on purpose.
That is an assumption of intent, and we do not tolerate this here.
And 3, it can make people into real pedos because they slowly become desensitized and seek more and more intent.
Pedophilia is a mental disorder. Like all mental disorders, you cannot catch pedophilia. You're either born with it, or you're not.
Carmen, pedophilia is more complicated than that. You can develop in your adolescence years where your sex life develops. However, there have been studies linking pedophilia to such as but not limited to CSA, differential brain / frontal lobe, and even head injuries. That last one gives a whole new meaning to the "you will drop as a head as a baby" saying.
This can especially happen with people who have addictions to porn.
This reminds me of something I said in the Brittany Venti video.
It's not good, and, I've covered a million times why porn addiction isn't good and how it affects everyone.
Personally, I don't think porn addiction exists. Because if it did, then every teenager ever would be considered an addict.
Wow, that's a terrible argument Pastor had made. You're literally denying the existence of something merely because an age group is not listed as such, which is not evidence, it's anecdotal at best. Oh, but I said it a long time ago. But the fact that you're calling it to right now tells me you still stand by it.
Also, Lyo has never said that lollycons are just as evil as real predators and groomers.
Yet, he acts like it. One look at Triple Sneeding and his tweets about the subject will tell you that he very much feels that way.
He has said that they are bad and gross and need to be stopped and called out for their behavior around children in media.
I love how subtle your statement of needs to be stopped is. It's almost as if you're trying to perpetuate cancel culture without actually saying it. Also, it's fine if you find it gross. I don't care if somebody simply isn't into it. That's their preference. What I am against is trying to cancel and deplatform people who like it.
It's almost as if being into kids is bad.
Always freaking out over cartoons and anime that sexualize minors.
I can't help but notice you bring up a tweet/Facebook post that is supposedly Lyo pointing out Yoko Winter is sexualized when you just happen to have a drawing of her on the wall in your character's background. Almost like you're angry that he called out that your favorite show has blatant sexualization of a 14-year-old in it.
Okay. And? Are you gonna confront the argument, or are you just gonna say she's biased and not actually disprove anything? Yoko's not real. She's an anime character. Star isn't real either. Oh, and before you call me biased, I like Yoko and Star, and will gladly rail them both. Cry about it.
And yet you wonder why people call lollycons pedos? Also, it does not matter if it's fiction. The content being fiction does not mean anything. It's still a minor being sexualized. Part of me wonders what's so hard to understand about this.
You also show no proof that Lyo complains about that comic, so I am disregarding that point.
And you also show no proof of your earlier point. Yet I actually confronted it and explained why you were wrong. Because unlike you, I know how to argue.
Considering you're a lollycon, I seriously doubt you do.
And that video that you're referring to when you show all of this stuff is about staff on a children's show making NSFW art of child brothers, specifically 13-year-olds.
Bro, do you mean the fucking anthropomorphic turtles? The ones that barely resemble humans, let alone real minors? Yeah, guys, if you think this is attractive, then you're just a pedophile, then. How dare you be attracted to the anthropomorphic cartoon turtles?
Well, they're literally the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage. You know, 13 to 17-year-olds. They were literally parented by some samurai rat. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Anthropomorphic does not inherently mean adults, especially in this case where they're literally teenagers. I have another reason why not to believe your audio statement when you say you know how to argue.
Also, thank you for giving me something to add to the playlist. I'm sure covering that would be fun.
Same when you said audio, I can't wait.
That clip completely blows your claim that Lyo believes that people who make NSFW with child characters are exactly the same as pedos and groomers out of the water.
Well, if he doesn't believe that, then he needs to stop acting like he does.
Screenshots?
Oh, seriously, can you provide us with screenshots? I'm not gonna look for treats, especially when you're the one presenting the argument.
Besides, I don't know how to spell triple sneak name or whatever the fuck you said earlier.
Actually, I'll let past Lyo state his actual full opinion on lolly art.
My values on art like this is such. You can try to make the argument of it's just drawings, or what about fictional violence all you want, but those are false equivalences.
And does Lyo Convoy explain why these are false equivalencies? Nope. He just says that they are, and you're expected to take his word for it.
I mean, it's kinda obvious why, but if you want someone to hold your hand and explain to you, allow me. The what about fictional violence argument is a false equivalence because the person arguing this is trying to compare young characters who are below the age of 18 involved in NSFW situations to violence in games such as Call of Duty in an attempt to justify it. It's not a good argument because violence in video games are portrayed the same way.
As for it's just a drawing argument, this is what we call a half-truth. A half-truth is a statement that does not tell the full truth, hence its name. It is a drawing, but what is a drawing of?
This type of art feeds into what's called a paraphilia, something that happens in the brain. And pedophilia is a paraphilia.
It's not only paraphilia, it's also a mental disorder.
Okay, and how's that important?
As I said, pedophilia is not something you can catch.
Guess what, Carmen? Lyo is not arguing to the contrary.
So thanks, Vapchan. You pointed me directly to a video that completely disproves your point.
And you pointed me in the direction of a video by the guy you're defending, which has resulted in me eventually covering him. Again. Mutually assured destruction.
Unless, of course, it's a series he personally likes.
So I decided to reverse image search these two images, and I found both. And you fucking lied about both images, and lied about another being something Lyo likes. In the first photo, you censored it to imply that there was genitalia being shown, when there is none.
No, she censored it because YouTube is bad at enforcing its rules and will age restrict or remove videos for barely any good reason. She never said there was genitalia. Also, shouldn't it be a no-brainer that a children's cartoon doesn't have genitalia? If you genuinely thought there was actual nudity in a children's TV show, then all you can blame is your stupidity.
There's a lot to unpack here. So first things first, I highly doubt Vapchan censored the children so she can avoid YouTube's wrath. Both Vapchan and Wade's video are not age restricted even by request. Hell, Wade showed the whole image uncensored and as far as I'm aware, did not get anything from it. Neither did Vapchan as he clearly had no problem avoiding censoring the adults to avoid being hit with an age restrict. Secondly, she didn't say it, but she implied it. The latter point is appealing to the knowledge of anything regarding to Thundercats. Let's say for argument that someone saw Vapchan's video, did not know of anyone named Lyle Convoy or any show named Thundercats, and walk away with the impression that Lyle was a hypocrite because of it. Let's be on Vapchan for attempting to imply it to begin with, and potentially leaving some of that impression, no matter what you or anyone says. So in other words, sucked.
It's like looking at a naked baby doll and screaming CP when there's no genitals or even nipples.
Wait, isn't that exactly what Aunties did with the LOL surprise toy line? Don't get me wrong, it's cringe, but you literally described something that Aunties actually do.
Fucking whale! Fucking whale! You did not show any evidence regarding this. And even if the supposed antis did do that, then how does it reflect on Wei exactly? Wei can still be critical of the supposed antis and still be antis and still have a point. It would bring this up as an attempt to discredit Wei's point, and quite frankly, that's a problem with you as a commentator. There's a good chance Wei did not know of this until now.
The other photo, the children are nude, but it's not in a sexual way, and it's obviously not meant to be sexual.
Yes it is! They literally make a joke about bust sizes in this scene. In fact, I'll play the scene right here. With everything except the subtitles and audio censor, of course.
綺麗になったでしょ? よく洗わないと。どうしたの？キッカもお姉ちゃんも同じ女だろ？そうよ。じゃあなんでキッカぺったんこなんだここほら。おます。
Again, I had to censor literally everything else because YouTube rules, but you can clearly read and hear the context of this scene. And I know you probably didn't see this part, but there's literally a part where they pat down Kika's chest when they talk about bust sizes. Oh, and on the Gundam wiki, the artwork used for Kika is her doing a suggestive pose. But yeah, totally not sexual or fanservice-y at all. Right, yeah. Totally not fanservice-y.
Wait, how is a bath scene supposed to be sexually appealing? It's a bath scene. I won't deny the possibility that some bath scenes are for fan service. But, considering Mobile Suit Gundam had its first untranslated episode released way in 1979, a whole 4 to 5 years before the internet became a thing and a whole couple of decades before the internet was released to the public, mind you, I doubt that this is fan service. As a matter of fact, it could be a reflection of Japan's culture that public bathing is part of it. Or it could be something as simple as cliché. It's like asking why the villain of a cartoon is always seen paying his cat whenever he makes an appearance in the latest episode, or why gravity does not work in cartoons until the person about to fall down looks down. It's just cliché. Or hell, it could have a totally dependent reason behind it. Such as, but not limited to, a way for the audience to relate to the character somehow, or a way to bring some sort of casualness to an epic protagonist, something I wish was more often explored if I'm being honest. But then again, I'm not a weeb, so who am I to do some basic research like a 5-minute Google search?
Also, how the fuck is Kika's pose supposed to be suggestive at all? And again, I'm asexual, so...
It's a bath scene with an adult, a very common thing, especially in older anime.
Yes, it is common in older anime. Wanna know why it's so common in older anime? Because it's meant to be sexual. It's meant to be lewd and fanservice-y. It always has been. Do you really think people are looking at this and going, I love the intricacies of this scene and the philosophical meaning behind it? No! People bust fat nuts to this stuff. They did it back then, and they still do it now. Also, I love how you hone in on Yoko's age earlier, but you call Fra Bo an adult when she's 15 in the original Gundam. All of this stuff I already talked about in Triple Sneedening, which you either didn't watch or pretended doesn't exist.
If someone is growing a sausage in the bath scene like in Mobile Suit Gundam, I want a hard drive check on that person, that's all I'm saying.
And I was actually able to find the show the photo is from, and as far as I'm aware, Lyo has never once brought it up on Twitter.
That's not the name of the show, that's just the name of the character the scene features. And yes, Lyo Convoy does like Gundam, because in his videos, he uses footage of him building Gundam model kits.
Just because someone has a hobby of building stuff does not inherently mean they're a fan of that. This extends to the collecting hobby as a whole. Speaking for myself, I actually have 2 Star Wars Funko Pops and a huge Transformers Funko Pop, and I'm not a fan of either franchise. Though all of them were gifts from my dad. But you get my point.
Lio Convoy wanted Mintheart to film herself being raped so that it could be used as evidence. Lio Convoy effectively wanted to have underage pornography filmed.
She wasn't being raped. She was being inappropriately touched.
Are we actually using the Septipause argument of, you weren't raped, you were molested? Are you really saying that? Why am I even asking? Of course you are. That's exactly what you're doing. You're literally minimizing the abuse by saying, he wasn't raped, he was molested. And it doesn't matter if there's no actual sex. If someone is on camera touching a minor inappropriately, it's CP. Period.
Hey, Carmen, next time you get in anyone's case for changing definitions, don't do the same by stretching out the definition of GP so you won't have to change your argument. Also, the fact that Septi Paws have anything to do with this. They aren't a part of this conversation. Yes, Septi did wrong. Damn them to hell, or even worse than hell, Shadowlands. Also, Way's not trying to minimize the abuse Jordan is going through by calling it inappropriate touching because that's what's happening. That's like saying you tripped and fell and someone come over and said, no you didn't, you broke every bone in your body, don't minimize your pain.
These are 2 completely different things. Both deeply traumatizing, but not the same. Now, I can't fully defend Lio because I'm not him.
Then why not let the guy defend himself for once? Every time Lio Convoy is called out for something, it's never him addressing the situation. It's always some other Senate member or fan of his doing it. Never does he himself make a response. Whenever something happens to me, I myself make a video on it, because it relates to me. When Lio Convoy does something bad, he asks his Senate members to do it for him, and whenever he realizes that he has to speak to the choir by himself, he bails. He bailed on Kai Weiss and Kumo when they wanted to confront him like he does others. And yes, I know Kai and Kumo have done bad things in the past, but that doesn't erase what they've said, and it doesn't invalidate what they said.
Hey, Carmen, why is it that Zay and Kumo can have the role stand despite the benefit, but Seti does not have the same benefit? I mean, again, fuck Seti, stand into the Silent. But why? Also, do you have proof that Lio acted as Senate members to defend him? Because I'm noticing a complete lack of it. Like, what are you doing at this point?
So instead, I'll let Lio defend himself in that situation, because he actually responded to it through his video about Kai Weiss/Zay.
Now here's the context. A minor who went by the name of Mintheart was touched in their home. This was taken to their school, their mother, and the police. The perpetrator was their mom's ex-boyfriend. None of the groups I mentioned did anything about it. Not the police, not the school, and their mother even let the creep stay the night after she knew what he did. Mint was worried he was going to get back a 3rd night and had no options. No friends to stay with, no shelters that would keep them. So the only thing anyone could think of was setting up surveillance so if something did happen, Mint could send it to the police. Mint. Not me. Not anyone else.
Okay, well, what if the police got Mint in trouble? Because that is a possibility. I remember in a video by Ailers, there was a clip from one of his videos where a parent called law enforcement to ask about a child who was being groomed online. And the police threatened to arrest the child and not try to find the predator grooming her.
Hey guys, what do you call the opposite of a necrophiliac?
Moron.
If the police aren't helping Mint now, they're not gonna help Mint later. Plus, how is Mint even gonna go to the police station to give the evidence? Wouldn't their parents realize they're missing? If Mint was so afraid of this creep, then I got a better idea. Either learn martial arts, or sleep next to a knife or weapon. Not only will this teach that fucker to never mess with you again, but it's not illegal because you're defending yourself. And then the police and EMT are gonna have to come and then he can explain his story. And with an injured man on the line, they'll have to do something.
Now,
Whilst you're aware that there's a possibility that the police will disregard Jordan, that isn't on Jordan, it's on the police for being a reason why the system's such a failure. As for they aren't gonna help Jordan now, so why are you gonna help them in the future? How would you know that? For all we know, if Jordan did proceed to send it to police, it could be used as evidence. Also, some states allow you to text 911. Yes, the parents will know that Jordan is missing, but he can simply lie to them. As for your self-defense claim, yes, you are right to teach that fucking other fuck about with Jordan again, but that's why I'm being hypotheticals here. One of the stepfathers lied about the event. I don't spoil my talking's videos, but later you will say that abuse is opportunistic, which I agree with dealing with an abusive model. One thing I know regarding abuse is that they're willing to lie to your face and make you question your sanity if it means preserving their innocence even for one more second.
And on top of that, it was an idea. It's not something they went through with.
Yeah, guys, I didn't tell a minor to record his CSA. I just gave him the idea to do it.
Nice from him. Would it be the same if Jordan was inappropriately taught to not being raped?
And did you hear how ecstatic Joshua Vita sounded about the prospect of this film being made?
Yeah, that's one thing I think should happen either way, is get that camera rolling, 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 just in case. Because the moment that's caught on footage, those are pretty cheap, aren't they?
Vita turned out to be a groomer. He groomed Mint hard. He apparently started going after Mint when she turned 14. They exchanged nudes. Apparently shortly before Mint's 18th birthday, Vita asked if he could see that underaged body one last time. And when Mint was going to come out about being groomed, Vita threatened to, become an hero.
Why are we bringing up what Vita did or sounded like?
Because this incident is why Lyo Convoy has so many predators and bad actors in his community. By giving Mint the idea that they could record their abuse, he indirectly told every bad actor out there listening that if they do something bad, that with the right justification, they could probably get away with it. Predators and abusers are opportunistic. If they see an opportunity where they can abuse a child, person, or whatever, they will take it.
Hey, so do you have proof of this, or are you gonna say it and expect your audience to believe it? You know, the same thing you criticize Lyle for. Also, I'm gonna be 100% here. Every community is going to have creeped and bad faith actors. To make it right, however, but it all relies on how they respond to those creeps. Lyle deals with the bad faith actors in his community. Evidently it didn't work for these people, so why are you lying? Just tell the truth and say you're biased.
This small justification of CP from Lyo Convoy is what caused all these bad actors to realize they can get away with their bad deeds if they can just find the right excuse. Coyote Lovely, Septipaws, and even Ephraim. Oh, by the way, Slimber, I know you're watching this and growing impatient for that call to be released, but don't worry, it'll be after this video. It's almost as if I have a life outside of commentary and I need to handle IRL shit before dealing with former Fairweather friends.
Coyote Lovely got ousted because of a Kiwi Farms thread ran on him, which got to the attention of the public soon after. He then made an absolute bitch of himself and cast a stream after the center was dragged through the mud because of his actions. Lyo is not pleased and had a call with him, which you can find on his YouTube channel. Septipaws was also ousted because of the blatant double standards regarding NSW. Figured you of all people should know this because you're the reason why we found out about Septi's bullshit to begin with. Lyo was also not pleased about this and had a call with them. You can find that call not on Lyo's channel but on Kumo's channel. And Ephraim, or the Ephraimitator, was being inappropriate with Fresh lied, yes, but that's it. He didn't groom them, he didn't put on them music because they were minor. Not to mention that Lyo dealt with him, saying if he did this again, he would say it'd be thrown out. All of them were dealt with. You can't just say this and leave it at that. You're lying by omission and I don't appreciate that.
Especially if Vita wanted to see that, but Lyo didn't. He stated he didn't. It was never meant to be seen by him or Vita. It was meant to be seen by Hartman and the police. Lyo never wanted to see that video.
That still doesn't erase what he did.
Lyo didn't want to see the evidence. He wanted Jordan to send it to the police when he found one he was trying to capture. For fuck's sake, stop doing this. You're spreading misinformation regarding something that has not yet to be made to fruition and was an idea. Actually, you're spreading disinformation.
Fit this into any other point, so I'm putting this here. When you play the call, you put this art over top, which indirectly villainizes Lyo. Like, look at that smirk. That was drawn with the assumption that Lyo is a freak.
Wow, it's almost as if he's the one who's in the wrong.
So yeah, Vito was one of many people who play Nonce Hunter to draw suspicion away from their own crimes.
If I see this terribly drawn finger one more time, I'm phoning the authorities.
Now, you might say, sure, Lyo Convoy should have known it's horrible to try to film a teenager getting raped as evidence, but it's...
Again, she wasn't raped.
Stop using the same argument made by someone who sent non-con hentai to minors.
Hey, have you heard of this thing called genetic fallacy? It's not a good tactic and should be avoided like the plague.
Not his fault Vita turned out to be a child molester. Well, it's not just Vita. There's an odd pattern of people in Lyo Convoy's gang of idiots turning out to be predators.
I'm calling the fucking authorities.
In addition to Vita, there's been Coyote Lovely, a guy who simped for hypnotist Sappho, a zoophile who raped her own dog, who tried to claim his relationship with Sappho was just getting evidence.
Say there's a pattern and then only show me one.
Well, I told you 3 people. In fact, I'll give you one more. Neko Koda.
Neko Koda was also dealt with by Lyo after she wasted her final chance among commentary as a whole by blackmailing a minor with their dog's information. More information on Duto's video about Koda, specifically the last chapter of the video.
Also, Peaches and Lyo were the ones to break that story, to show that Coyote Lovely was a predator.
Well, where were they when it was discovered years before that Coyote Lovely was with Zercarlo, the guy who abused birds? As told in Triple Sneedening. That happened in 2018. Way before the Sappho stuff.
Oh. Now you're just walking to my territory. Yeah, someone who's been there since day one when transphobic ghosts got exposed, what you said really pisses me off. Most evidence on Zercarlo nowadays is missing. However, yes, Coyote and Zercarlo were roommates, but I'm pretty sure this is before Coyote and Lyo became friends. While that doesn't excuse Coyote's defense of the guy, only now speaking out against him when he fucked him over, that doesn't give you the courage to imply that Lyo knew that Coyote was friends with Zercarlo. Also, yes, they were roommates before Coyote did his stupid up on Sappho, but it was just way before Zercarlo made his transphobic gimmick account and got exposed months later.
Oh, and would you look at that? One of the main videos exposing Vita for his grooming of Mintheart was made with Lyo's help. He's even in the fucking thumbnail.
You're telling me not once did Lyo Convoy get suspicious of this grown man hanging around a teenager this whole time? Or how he wanted to move in with this minor? He didn't bat a single eye? I doubt it.
Jesus Christ, do you have an allergy to showing your evidence when you're presenting a claim or something?
You know, Lyo's always saying he learned his morality from Thundercats. I must have missed the episode where Wily Cat and Wily Kit got molested and Lion-O just sat back and watched because he needed to get evidence first.
That's just gross. Actually, really gross. Like, why are we making these kinds of jokes?
Cry about it and grow a spine.
Said I need my 40, pull up to the party, yeah.
Again, just because it's a joke doesn't make it the harm it could cause. It's not a joke if you're laughing at someone and not with someone. It's not dark humor. If you want to defend the joke so badly, then explain what the punchline is. Also, cry about it and grow a spine? What? You have no idea how weird it is to hear it coming from you.
Please, if you're actually an advocate for victims, don't make these kinds of really triggering, really gross jokes.
I find it very telling how Rara is claiming that lollycon and edgy jokes are problems, yet is trying to justify the creation of CP all in the same—
No! Ray's not doing that, you dumb idiot. He's not against edgy jokes, he's just against terrible jokes that can trigger victims. How far up your own ass you have to be in order to be this stupid?
And for the last time, Jordan was not being raped, he was being inappropriately touched. How many times do I have to repeat this before I die?
same video. It's almost as if Senate doesn't actually care about children unless it lines Lyo Convoy's pockets for more toy money.
I do not wish to hear how someone does not care about victims by the same lady who allowed a 15-year-old to send new photos of themselves on her server without any backlash from her end.
Hence why Lyo Convoy would later go on to kick Min to the curb in favor of Hopeless Peaches. Alright.
Okay, I might be wrong about the timeline, but and yes, Lyo did kick Jordan out in favor of Peaches, but whenever else people who care for victims don't do, use victims as a way to push their agenda. So anyways, after this point, Carmen begins reading off the comment by some kids who convinced that something was the true bad guy and she did nothing wrong or whatnot, and presumed that same kid or whoever reads off Ray replies, which he says that Ray is not a child, he's a teenager, he's just self-defending himself, like knowing how teenagers are still children. Then he tries to get Ray to join a Discord call for like a loud convoy wannabe and made some comments about Rapton, then ended the video. I'm done with this pure example of bias of a video and I'm pulling the plug here.
I don't have a lot to say about Carmen that isn't said by other people. Every word that Carmen says should be taken with a level of salt because that's how untrustworthy this player white wannabe is. Don't get me wrong, Broken Clocks are white twice a day and she has made some good points like her expose of safety parts I mentioned earlier in this video. But above all, she's a prime example of bad commentators. Like, I know he hates Lyle because he didn't become a part of the echo chamber that he's always looking for. I mean, to quote Doodle Tones,
it's like, after a point, you gotta sometimes wonder if Carmen actually wants to discuss anything and learn from potential mistakes she's made, or if she'd rather just be able to say whatever with an ever-growing echo chamber surrounding her. It's like, why are you in commentary when the majority of your argumentation style is nuh-uh?
I could go on about Ho and her far-right beliefs, but we don't have all day, frankly. And it could be its own video. As a matter of fact, I'm setting my eyes on another video that I do not like. It does not involve a comment, but involves another controversial figure and a video I do not like, and I wonder if they did any research on. Thank you for sticking around. If you want, you can give me a like and a sub. It helps me out in the long run, and it's free. Until my next harm releases, be safe and keep on your toes. Goodbye.